And good Sunday morning, and welcome to Poppy's Workshop. Let's see, I think I've been working all week trying to get the video streaming issues rectified, and I think I did it. So that is a good thing. I'm actually starting just a little bit early. I wanted to see if it was actually going to work, and that would give me, a couple minutes to bail out and try again. But looks like, let's get my hand in there. Yeah, looks like it's actually working. So, yeah. So again, it is Poppy's Workshop from Little Acorns, Great Oaks Grow. So I have been working on the chess set. That's what I was trying to do the past couple weeks and had issues with streaming, and it just wouldn't work. I was able to get pieces done, and I'm almost done with the dark pieces, which are cut from walnut. So what I get is let's get that under the light, see if that may overexpose it a little bit. Let me move the light out of the way a little bit. And let's see, yeah. So here is actually a full slab. It's 12 inches, and it is 1.5 by 1.5. So that, yeah, that is the basic of what a slab looks like for me. And then from there, let's go to this. This is what we're actually going to be cutting today, is one of these. Let's see if I can get that close enough that you can see. Yeah, that should do it. So this is compound cutting of the pawns. So that's one side. That'll be the first side that we do. And then this will be the second side that we do. So this is what we're going to be working on today. I'll put that over onto the scroll saw. We'll move over to that momentarily. So yeah, here we go. I've got almost the first half. I'm debating whether I will be, I forgot what this was. Not aspen. Anyway, this is probably what I'm going to go with for the light. I'm not sure. The issue that I see when I do this type of wood, birch, not aspen, it's a common one. Everybody uses it. The problem is when I use my linseed oil, it actually turns a yellow, and I don't like that. That's after like a month or so. I really like it when I first do it. It's more of an ivory bone color, so I'm still debating about that. I was actually thinking of using red cedar, American red cedar, for that. So if you look now, these are just cut. They are not sanded. They are, of course, not finished. So I'm not sure how this is going to look. So what I did is I added a little bit of finish to this, so you can see how it starts getting the rich chocolatey color. And that's what those are going to look like. So they're going to really look beautiful. So I want to make sure that when I do the white pieces that it follows the same suit. So overall, these are only taking about a half hour to cut. These others that are a little bit more complicated are 45 minutes to an hour. But overall, if I add in the hand sanding, I've showed it before. I have sanding sticks and scraps and all that other stuff to do it. But anyway, I'm estimating that a set of 32 pieces, I'm probably looking somewhere in the vicinity of about 40 hours of work just to do the pieces itself. So, am I really going to be able to get my get money's worth out of it, my value out of it? Should I decide to sell? Probably not. I mean, you figure if I don't provide a playing table, a playing board, you know, with that I probably have 50 to 60 hours in. You know, you're looking at $10 an hour, $600, at $20 an hour, you know, $1,200. Now, I've seen some sets that are quite exquisite, you know, $3, $4, $5,000+, but this is nowhere near that type of quality in my mind. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So, I think that pretty much covers that particular thing. I'm not going to be on super long today as I have to do a brake job on my wife's van. It is squeaky, 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 really loud. So needless to say, she hasn't been driving it. She's been driving my vehicle. So I want to make sure that she's going to be safe, good to go, and I don't feel like spending a lot of money at the garage. So I'll be replacing the rotors and the pads on the vehicle. And right now I'm trying to get some music in my ears. I think I'm going to go classic rewind. There we go. All right, so let's switch over to scroll saw, if it's still working here. Yes, it is. And yeah, let's get started here. I'm going to move the light up a little bit in my magnifying glass. And we're going to start. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? We need to get this. And I've gotten better at doing the jig. So what I try and do is make sure that this is flat. Make sure it doesn't wobble. And, you know, there's very little gap here. So I think I need, make sure that is down and that's down. Okay. There we go. All right. I think that, you know, let me make sure my deck is clean here, clean-ish. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so what I will be doing today, and I changed my view. I think this may be actually a little bit better. So what I'll do is I'll start off on the more complicated side, and I'll do the inside cuts first on one. I'm going to do one at a time, and then once I get these four, then I'm going to do a perimeter cut, and I think I find doing the whole piece on the first cut better than doing the second. I found that things were bouncing around an awful lot more. So that's what it is. Yes, JJ, welcome aboard. I finally got it working. Multiple tries. It was a freaking nightmare. I wound up switching to YouTube backup something that you stream to, and then lowered my, my frames per second to 30 instead of 60. Just a whole bunch of things. It was really trial and error for the last 2 weeks. The weird thing is that it was working before, then all of a sudden not working. And I did nothing. This is a dedicated laptop that I keep out in the shop. When I'm done, I turn everything off and cover it, and it's not used for anything else. So go figure. But yeah, it seems to be working. So far I have 0 frames dropped, where, you know, 0%, 0 frames, where last Sunday it was upwards to 60, 70% frames dropped. It was nuts. So yeah. Okay, so anyway, so after that I will cut that out, then I will flip it to the other side, and then we'll do that. So this will take about a half hour. So I've pretty much found the best pattern to, cutting pattern, to cut these out. I'm going to get my little pointy pointer, and yeah, you can see it. That's nice. So I'm going to drive to this corner here, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the arc first. No, doesn't really matter, because it's a little bit closer. So I'm going to drive to this point here, nibble a little, come down, nibble, come to here. Let's see, can you see that? No, you can't. Now you can. So then, as I said, I'll drive to here, nibble, nibble, and then drive up, and just a hair of a nibble to do the final arc. And I'll do pretty much the same thing with these. Now this piece, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do this half of the arc. Well, actually, I'll do this half of the arc first. Then I'll come back up, come back to here, turn it around, and then I will drive here, nibble, come across, and that piece will be done. So that's how you... Oh, the mic is running on something. Yeah, that's probably me. I'm wearing my Henley since it's a little bit colder. So let me see if I can get that away from me. All right, let me know if that's a little bit better. A lot of times I do wear a hat, and then I just clip it to the hat, and get it away. But the problem is the hat picks up a little bit more of the ambient noise versus being muffled up against my shirt. So I'm going to try and get it away from my shirt a little bit. But, you know, once the noise starts and my talking is a little bit limited, hopefully it won't be quite as obvious. But no, I appreciate you letting me know. That way I can get the sound and everything better. I did lower the dB on the microphone to 14.7, so that hopefully cuts out a lot of the background noise too. So anyway, I'm going to get my music on and get the vacuums on. And let's get started. Oh, am I blocking? Wait a sec. Okay. Lower the brightness a little bit. I think you should be able to see what I'm cutting. I think I'm going to have to adjust the angle on the next time. So, all right, here we go. I'm using a number 7 Flying Dutchman. I've actually been using a number 9, and I really like the way the number 9's been cutting. I'm down to my last 10. So I'm pulling back a little bit in that nibble. Watching the way this is going to travel. But the number 9, actually, I think I like it better for this 1.5-inch walnut. But I do like that the number 7 is the size of my line. So here's my nibble. I'll pull back a little bit. And I aim for the right corner. Of that nibble. The other thing with the number 9 is with the thicker kerf, pieces slide out real nice. I get very little binding. And I just realized my stool is low. So I lower it when I'm at my workbench. So as I was recording the other day, and they're all private now because the recordings actually sucked, but one of the things that I mentioned is that when I'm cutting, all my cuts are very intentional. I think in advance how I want to cut things. Let me get my finger there. And I got to clean that corner just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, first cut done. Good, I'm glad it's a little bit better. What I do also like about the, let me get the light so you can see. I gotta get the light up a little bit. What I like about the number 7 and the number 5s is how smooth the cuts are, which helps with minimizing the amount of sanding that I have to do. Especially with the insides, you know, I'll be using sanding sticks. All right, so as I said, I'll start here. So, if you haven't seen my other videos that you were able to hear, the chess set that I'm building is inspired by Venice, Italy. Most of it from St. Mark's Cathedral. So now I'm going to flip it around back in to where the line goes straight, or, well, before it curves off, I should say, and then continue the other part. This way you get a nice smooth transition. Now, one other thing that I do like about the number 7 blade versus the number 9, this doesn't tear the paper, the pattern paper, like the number 9 sometimes does. All right, I'm being distracted. Hold on. Yeah, I got my, let's see, got my 40-ounce mug that is bouncing around a little bit. And let me get my stool up a little bit higher as we do this. All right. Let me adjust the light and magnifying glass. All right, so I'm going to do a little nibble here. There we go. I'm going to back up. And again, let me show you. When I spin, I'm actually aiming for this corner right. You can't see it. Wait a second. You can't see it. Let me spin it and see if I can show you after the fact. But I gotta clean up that line a little bit, get it on the red line. See, I'm afraid to adjust the camera because what happens is it freezes up. So this is the corner of my nibble right here, and that's where I aim. That way I stay close to the line, but I'm not making little nicks where I shouldn't. So always aim into the scrap. All right, I'm blind here because of the drill hole. I'm going real slow to get a nice clean edge. Very important to keep your deck clean of debris. Oh. Oh. Bummer. That pilot hole did not go straight. Look how far this is compared to that one. Oh, this may be a piece I'm going to have to redo. It depends on when I actually peel off the top and bottom layer. So I'm going to keep going with it. Ah, that sucks. All right, I'm going to go to the inside of my line. So obviously, when I drilled, there might have been debris on the table. That's okay. Ah. What a bummer. But that's what happens when you use too big of a pilot drill. The issue that I have, this is the smallest that is 2 inches in length. The pilot that is even 1 step smaller is like in itself one, I think it's 1.5 or 1 1/4. I'm going to do just a little nibble. So when you get it in the chuck, you only have about 1 inch. So I've got to find, I'm concentrating here. I'm going to have to find some longer drills that are smaller than this. I think this is an 1/8 inch drill. Yeah, that's... All right, let's see how it looks on the other side. Now, when this comes out, yeah, I think this is a lost piece. Yeah, that's going to be a lost piece. Bummer. So the question is, do I keep doing it or just go to the next one? Yeah, I think I'm just going to abandon it right now. Because I do need to test if it did it to both. It's one of those things where you don't want to waste the half hour. But you know, these things do happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the inside of my line just to make sure said I was going to go to the inside of the line. My habit is to split the line, so yeah, my habit. So this gives me a very clean 90 degree. And the other thing about doing nibbles like I do, you're not bending the blade, for example, when you do a snap, a snap turn. You're minimizing friction, which minimizes heat. And that helps the blade last a little bit longer. I don't know how much, but it removes some stresses on the blade. Heat is an enemy of any type of metal. It'll fatigue. And with the small teeth that we have from these stamped blades, the teeth will dull out real quick. So the next one I'm going to do is this one here, because that is really close to the line. If anybody knows where I can, or the brand I should say, of smaller drill bits but are at least 2 inches, let me know what you know of in the comments. And I'm going to go slow here. All right, let's see. This will tell a story when I flip it over. Ah, much better. So you can see I've got a lot more, let's see, tilt it over, a lot more room here. Nope, not as much as I had hoped. Yeah, that was angled off a little bit. But you figure out of, let's see, I've got 4 more out of 12 pieces so far. That was my first really bad one. But having these larger pilots makes threading a lot easier, especially after you've done one side. I know my king on one side had a little bit of issue. You can see where the drill went in at the very bottom. So, what's everybody working on this week? I've got a few toys up on the router table. Hungarian officer that I work with at NATO just announced he and his wife are going to have a baby come April. So I got to make some toys for that baby. And then last week I met up with a friend I haven't seen in a while. He just became a grandfather. So I gave him a couple toys. And of course, that soul-sucking 125 toys I delivered a few weeks ago. I think just because of having the eye injury, having to get wonky again, and then the heat of the summer just really tapped me out. And I needed to get to other things. Let's see. Make sure I stay to the inside of the line. Inside. I keep repeating to myself in my head. Inside, inside, inside. Yeah, I feel it getting easier here because of the angle of that hole. go. Now I'm going to nibble that last bit out. Yeah, you can see the drill hole starts here, but look what happens, how it comes off. So that drill was not a happy drill. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. All right, let's see how bad it is on the other side. Ah, much better. And remember, I'm going to be taking off about 1/8 of an inch on each side, so that'll be a little bit better. Hopefully the audio is not too bad. I'll figure out how to stop the rubbing noise if it's still there. All right. Around. Ugh. I'm listening to my Sirius satellite, and they're playing George Harrison, which honestly I don't like the Beatles, and even the solos I never really liked them. Sir Paul might have been 1 or 2 songs, but on a whole, just not my taste. And now I'm listening to Do It Right. Oh, the name of the song. So I got my mind set on you or something? I forgot what it was when I measured up all the pieces. I think it came to like 46 inches. So I figured with waist on the top and bottom, about 56 inches. Yeah, 60 inches of wood of the 1 by 1.5 by 1.5. So I think I'll have about 6 inches of wood left over when I'm done. In a second. I'm feeling. There we go. You know what I also need to do? I'm going to crank this just a hair tighter. Yeah, I really like the jig that I made. I showed you in a few videos back. It's 3/4 inch and what is it, 1.5 high and 12 inches. But unlike a lot of other, there we go. Unlike a lot of other jigs that I've seen, they don't have a spring. So I did the spring there that keeps a very even tension. No, I'm going to do this instead. So again, usually I try and start in a corner. That way you hide any unsmooth transition. And sometimes, of course, like my frown, you can't help it. A little bit of a nibble, because that's a kind of an obtuse angle coming off that arc. Actually, I just realized I'm using Elmer's repositionable glue directly on the paper, directly onto the wood. No, no tape, no, hold on for a sec. No shelf liner, like I normally do on toys. But what I just realized, I could probably use the 3M glue that I normally use, which has a better adhesion, and do it directly on the wood, because the way these compound cuts work, you're actually cutting off about 1/8 of an inch or more. So the stencils, the patterns, are cut off when you drop the piece out. And I think I actually like the 77 because the adhesion is so much better. All right. Now, I probably didn't need to do this. I put a pilot hole here. You know, realistically, I could have just come from here, you know, all that there. But, you know, habits. Oh, let me take a look. Yeah, you're right, John. This here is sucking pretty loud. Let me see if I can open up another valve and get rid of that. Usually I open it up a little bit to get rid of the whistle, but what I may do, and I don't see it, I had an old brush that I used to put on this that cut the noise down some more. But I've got really good suction coming from the top. So how you doing, John? But with all the problems that I've had the past couple weeks on getting the streaming to work again, the audio, hopefully I will fix as well. Being that I can't hear while I'm videoing, while I'm streaming. All right, so a slight nibble here gives me a ability to make that. Now this next little, let me stop. I think you can see it. Right here is just a little jog in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go past it, touch here, come down. Then in this, I'm going to nibble somewhere out here to turn around so I can nibble back this way. I used to nibble here and go sideways. You know, both ways worked, but I found the way that I'm going to do it just seemed to be a little bit cleaner. So go to this line. I'll go down that just a little bit, give me a start. And then I do my turnaround in the scrap in this little nibble here. So that way I stay away from my live cut. I can back in. And now nibble that little piece there, like that. And then turn it around. There. So that's how I do it on that side. Well, to answer your question, John, let me switch over to the workbench. What I am making a pawn for my chess set that is here. So this is the piece I'm actually working on today, is the pawns. Oops. This is what I've done the previous couple weeks. And this is inspired by Venice, Italy. Now this is the walnut, and then when it is finished, that's the color that it will be. So you can see the light underneath. So there you go. It is a chess set. Yay. All right, let's go back to... Yeah, I've actually enjoyed it. I've never done... let me get started here. I've never done compound cutting before. So I wound up doing the, as a practice, the golf bag and golf ball on a tee compound cut, which came out well, but I don't like it because the golf ball had angles on it, which is not natural for a golf ball. Whereas these pieces are natural all the way around, top, sides, bottom. So then after, one sec. So after I did the golf ball, I said, the heck with it. I'm going to do a chess set. And I glued a couple pieces of wood together because I didn't have any decent blanks. And I did the St. Mark's Basilica, which I believe is the bishop for my set. And that I did in birch, glued together, as I was ordering up some turning wood from Uchu Hardwoods. I did try somebody else, but I didn't like their wood. It was still a little wet, and it wasn't exactly 1.5 by 1.5, and I don't like that. If you tell me it's 1.5 inches, damn it, make it 1.5 inches. That's why I always go back. I'll pay a little bit more, but I get real quality wood from Uchu, I think that's how you pronounce it, Hardwoods. They got great customer service. And, you know, I order 24-inch pieces, but I ask them to rip it into 12 inches. They do it at no extra cost. That just saves me time, and they have such clean finish. Oh, I'm caught in that. There we go. Let me back up. Yeah, if my voice is not too low, I could try lowering my dBs a little bit. So how is my voice coming over the vacuum? Because if you can hear me, what I can do is lower the dBs. That'll lower the background noise along with my voice, but hopefully it'll get to a muting threshold where where the vacuum is not as noticeable. So I can do that. I can give it a try. Because that's what I'll do is afterwards I'll listen to parts of this stream, see what I think I can do. But it's still kind of experimental, whereas right now, being that I am live, I can do a few adjustments. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, it does sound fine. All right. Because, yeah, let me see here. Just a little bit. All right, I'll just take it to 16. Let me see. Let me stop talking for a second. Yeah, still up there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was off a little bit. Yeah, I did notice that my vacuum is not sucking as much as it should. But I hate dusty workshops. I don't want to be breathing it in. So now this one, I'm going to do the nibble all the way across, turning a little bit, so that by the third or fourth nibble, I'm already lined up for my cut here. So again, try and be intentional. I'll go past my cut line a little bit for the turn, a little nibble, just to get the blade away from the line so I don't nick it. And now I watch So I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go across the bottom. There's pros and cons, because it actually does then release it. But when I spin it, in the jig, it'll hold it in. But I find that I can do my straight lines much better on this first side. And I won't need to sand the bottom to flatten it. Just about done. And boom. Yeah, so you can see it drop a little bit. So I'm going to hold that in. And now we're going to rotate it. Let's get some of the dust out, make sure that it's lined up. And let's get this in the jig. Yeah, that seems to be in there nice. Well, a little bit high. Well, not. Yeah, no wobble now. So there's only one cut on this side for the inside cuts. Makes me happy. Then I do the perimeter and we'll be done with that piece. And you can watch it drop out. Now, when you're doing the second side on a compound cut, you need to be very aware that sometimes you're going through other cuts and it becomes really easy at times. And then all of a sudden it'll get hard. And then all of a sudden it'll get really easy, and it would be very, very easy to overshoot a line. So just be very, very conscious of the feel. Because where this finger is, my left forefinger, when I go down that side, that is going to be the easy area because of the 4 inside cuts that I made on the other side. See, like this is really easy right now, and you should be able to hear chatter. Because there's a hollow that this is actually going through. So instead of a single piece coming out, it may come out in like 6. There, that piece is done. Let me rephrase that. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so here's what came out. So there's a lot of empty places, empty spots. Oh, let me look at what people are saying here. Yeah, the jig was very easy to make. These bolts are, let's see, these are 4-inch quarter 20 bolts. I have a large and small washer here, then a large and small washer here, the spring, small washer, and then a thumb screw. And then, I did a slot here and just a single, oh, you can't see it, wait a sec, and a single hole here. So I can adjust. So if I have a small piece, I can adjust where the pressure is by adjusting, by adjusting this, sliding that in. I should post a pattern sometime. All right, so let's get this piece cut out. Yeah, so power carving, I do that, but okay, now it's going to be fairly easy. Nope, now it's going to get hard. Let me pay attention to this for a moment. So power carving I do, I'm not super proficient at it, but if a person is power carving a chess set and he can get them all to look identical, wow, then they are light years ahead of what I'm doing. So I'll make my turnaround here. My goal, yeah, see now, this is really easy here. I just felt it really start to glide. All right, let me back up. spin it. Again, notice I spin it with the teeth going into the scrap area. That's pinching a little bit. There we go. 2 or 3 little nibbles. And we'll back it around. So that's how you get that clean 90. So this is really easy here. You know that big hole that I cut? And the 3 small ones, that's what it's going through on the front right now. So lots of hollows, but over here it's not there. So it'll be very easy to overshoot the runway, so to speak. But yeah, when I started doing the chess set, I thought, man, this is really cool. I may do a couple. I may do a traditional one, but I also saw one based on San Francisco, which I thought was cool. Now, depending on how this set comes out, there is a, I don't know if I'm going to do it with this. There's a Christmas bazaar where I work, and because I work in an organization with 32 nations in the alliance, I have a large contingent of Italian officers and civilians. Yeah, that cut real nice. And the Christmas bazaar is to raise money for orphanages in Europe. I don't know what I would be able to get. Well, when I say I would put this on the Italian delegations table. What it is, it's the wives of the officers that run it out of our NLR, which is the liaison representative. Okay. Now we're getting to the, that's real easy here. I mean, it's almost like sewing. Now it's harder. So I'm going to make sure I go real slow here. Let me do my 1, 2, 2.5 nibbles. This is drifting a little bit. I'll do 2 quick nibbles here, and we're almost done. I'm going to take this past. See, this is starting to bounce a little bit more. And then we'll be able to pull it out and we'll be done with this piece. Here we go. Let the smelter go through. I'm going to do a little nibble here. That way the blade comes out. Whoop, didn't do it right. Comes out easy. Okay, let me turn off the vacuum. All right, and I'll take off my hearing protection. And let's see where we're at. Oh, the focus went out? Bummer. Yeah, that's the autofocus. I can't seem to turn off. All right, so let's see how this is going to look. Keep your hand underneath because sometimes this slips out. Actually, this one may not that easily. Here we go. Yep, here we go. Come on, baby. Get the sides off. Here we go. All right. So here's the, let's see. Let me get this down so I can get my hand above it. All right. Hide that. So these are the sides that came off. You can see the pattern on one side, and the angles. And then this is the piece that is done. Let me get the light up a little bit. Right there. There we go. Good. I'm glad the focus came back. That's sunlight. I have a piece of cardboard in the window of my shop, but a little bit is leaking through. Let me do this. Let me switch over to the workbench. So this here, we'll get it closer. Now you can see it a little bit better. This is the piece that I just cut out. That's the side. Thank you. I appreciate it. Even though we did blow one piece this morning. So now I'm going to have to print up another. And dummy me, I just threw out a template that had an extra one. Hopefully I didn't crumple it up. I was experimenting on printing some stuff. So I will have to print out one more. Let's see if we can see that. There we go. Get that out of the light. So these are the two. I've got to do three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I got to do 3 more. And we'll be done with the other half. So as I said earlier, when I first started, I may do the same wood, but my concern is when I put it in the linseed oil, it will turn more yellowish gold versus the ivory when it first does it. I may look at using something else, but what I prefer to do is use a liquid so that I can actually dip it. Very important for me. It's because I want to get all the nooks and crannies, then just hang it upside down, maybe use my air hose, high pressure air hose, to blow out any residual, wipe what needs to be wiped on the outside, and then let it dry. The raw linseed oil, I let it sit for a long time. I still have some Christmas gifts that I made a couple months ago sitting in my my shed in my backyard. I got them just kind of covered with a towel just to keep dust off of it. But that way it's just fully cured. And you know, during the warm days, like we had almost 80 degrees a couple days this week, that shed gets nice and warm inside, so it cures nicely. So yeah, there we go. This is the set. I'm probably not going to be able to finish the other 3 pieces today. So as I said, I got to eat lunch now, but I'm going to be doing the brake job. Let me see. Let me turn this. Warning, turning. Come on. Here we go. So yeah, I got everything lined up at the garage door. There's the pads. And I rolled my big tool chest that has all the other things that I need. And I've got a coworker coming over to help me do it. So yeah, there we go. I think that is pretty much it for today. I've got to now finish prepping for the brake job and hopefully get my wife back on her van back up on the road. This is one of the disadvantages of buying used vehicles. This one I bought in 2018. It's a Town and Country minivan, and I bought it for $5,000. Maybe it was $5,250, I think, from a German officer who was leaving in 2018, and he sold it to me. Already had some things replaced on it because usually the foreign officers, they buy those extended warranties, but they go to this small dealership. Pretty much all of NATO goes there, and they give them a decent deal on it. But Town and Country is known to burn through the front brakes very quickly, so I got some slotted and drilled, so hopefully that'll keep the temperatures down. Maybe they'll last a little bit longer. But I bought it with less than 120,000 miles on it. Let's see, so I've owned it since 2018, but we just had a big repair this year. My wife was coming back from Western New York, and she was about an hour away, and the vehicle started overheating. So we were stuck, had to take it to AAA approved garage. It wound up being about $1,500 to repair. The sad thing is, if it had happened within towing distance, or if I had the more expensive tow package from AAA, I could have brought it here and probably for about $300 or $400 or less done the same thing. So as much as possible, I try and repair my vehicles. I do have a Mustang 2006 that again, $5,000. English officer, it's a convertible, and it's the V6. I don't need a V8. I've already gotten in trouble enough with things. And I resto-modded it. Now the only thing I need to do is replace the rag top because that's starting to go. I've been using RTV to kind of keep it from leaking and everything. I did replace the top cylinders and hoses, replace the front fascia to add fog lights and more modern lights. Re-rugged it, but I'm ticked off. I got it from, I forgot what Mustang specialty place. Well, within 2 years, my black rug is turning brown where the sun's hitting it, so it was not UV treated. They do nothing about it, so I'm kind of ticked at that. So I'm going to hand dye those places. I already have the dye, the RIT dye. We'll try and fix that. But anyway, that's it. I will be back next week. We will be working on, most likely, these pieces out of a much softer wood. So the cutting may go just a hair faster, but man, I don't like how rough it is here on that cut. Otherwise, I do have, I forgot whether it was aspen or, what is it they make baseball bats out of? Not birch. Yeah, I forgot. Anyway, I have that wood as well. And again, I was also thinking of using American red cedar. And I'm kind of leaning towards that. That may look very unique, especially once it's finished. I'll have to see how it cuts some of the smaller details because the red cedar is known to chip a little bit. So I may do an experimental piece first. Ash, that's what it is. Some of the baseball bats are made out of ash. So that'll be a really nice hardwood too. I think the jank is about the same, a little bit more. I think just around 12 or 1300 compared to the walnut, which is about, I think, the same thing. This, I think, is a 400 janka. I think the red cedar is about 900, so that would be easy to cut too. But that's about it. So there you go. That's it for this week. From Poppy's Workshop. May the Lord richly bless you. Make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop.